The following is a Gear Network presentation on iHeartRadio.
GearNetwork.com.
This is a Gear Network production.
I am the greatest. The greatest.
JC Money.
From the Gear Network Studios, it's the JC Money Podcast with your host, John Cimino, a.k.a. JC Money. And now, here's John.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the JC Money Show here on the Gear Radio Network's iHeartRadio channel. What is up? How's it going? My name is John Cimino at the JC Money on the Twitter and on Facebook, facebook.com/thejcmoney. And I'm going to go ahead and get right into the topics. But first, I must give some love to our Amazon page. It is shopgear.com. That's shopgere.com. Go, if you're going to shop on Amazon, please use my link and just go there and do that. It's no additional cost to you, no nothing. It helps sustain this program. It helps sustain this podcast. It helps sustain this network. Easy breezy Japanesey, my babies. Shopgear.com. That's the easiest way to support us and allows us to keep these spontaneous podcasts going, whether it's on the iHeartRadio channel or, like normal, released on Spreaker or iTunes or whatever platform that we have. All right, now, let's move on, shall we? Time to start the show, my babies. So here I am, the return of the show here, the return of the JC Money Podcast. And for those of you that did not know what the original show was, let me explain really quickly. It was basically a quick 15-minute recap of stuff that really pertained to Western New York wrestling in general that gave me an opportunity to vent. This is kind of going to be that, except it's going to be more of a variety. So think of a hybrid between Talking Wrestling, Get Ready America, and the Football or Not Just Football Talk Weekly Podcast, whatever you want to refer to that as. But basically, it's just me it's just another platform for me to get my voice out on the air and air out some grievances or some things that I feel are important. So not every episode is going to be the most popular one. For my conservative friends, I lean left. So a lot of my world news commentary is going to be based on the left side of left point of view, my point of view, which you may or may not agree with. You know, for those of you that do agree with it, great. For those of you that don't agree with it, you know, tune in next week. Maybe I'll have something you'll agree with. But it's not going to be just one particular topic, and that is what I am going for. I'm just going for basically to have a discussion, honestly. And if it gets you talking and if it gets you to take your mind away from what is going on in the world today, well, then I will feel that I have done my job and done it very well. So, the first topic of the relaunch, of course, it's going to be Donald Trump and his presidency and, quite frankly, how politics have affected relationships, specifically with me. I'm not really quite clear as to why people throw blinders on Donald Trump and his presidency and everything like that, and are just enraged by the people that speak out against him and the type of person he is. But I want to just go ahead and take a few minutes to talk about a couple of things that frequently come up from his supporters. Quote, give Trump a chance. Why isn't anybody giving Donald Trump a chance? We gave Obama a chance, gave George Bush a chance, gave Bill Clinton a chance, etc., etc., etc. Well, here's the thing with that. That question always seems to come up with Trump supporters, and there's a plethora of different answers that I can give you. But the main one that I'll speak to, that I will give to you, is that the difference between Donald Trump and those other presidents that you mentioned is that for each of those, the Obamas, Bush, Clinton, they were virtual unknowns. They took the opportunity in the campaign to get to know and get their presence felt out there. But they didn't have a rich lineage of history that you can go back to and say, yeah, you know, Obama or Bush or Clinton, Bush Sr., they were scumbags. You know what I mean? Donald Trump is a noted scumbag. He's a celebrity, and he has been at the forefront of the television cameras for many, many, many years. And his ways are not presidential, quite frankly. He came into the office with a majority, again, a majority, because the minority of people voted him in with the Electoral College. But the majority of the people, the popular vote, already knew going in that Donald Trump was a scumbag. In his personal life and all of the different things that aired that, you know, Trump supporters are like, hey, you should give him a chance. Well, no, I can't give him a chance. I don't want to give him a chance because he's not a nice person. He's a terrible person. And that's on public record, and that is something that you could research. You couldn't quite do that with the other presidents that preceded him, but I digress. He is also under federal investigation for collusion with Russia, and the collusion that his campaign may have possibly influenced the election that got him into office. If that isn't a major thing, let me just put this out there again. The President of the United States is under federal investigation for collusion with Russia. You were not able to say any of that about Obama or Bush or Clinton or Bush Sr. But here's his first 120 plus days in a nutshell. Here's another reason why I don't like him. There's actually several reasons why I don't like him. I'm going to give you a few of them in a nutshell here. Because the greatest criticism I hear is that, hey, people have a difference of opinion. And, you know, JC just doesn't really respect that others have an opinion. And the opinion, and where you're wrong there, I do respect that you have an opinion. I hope and wish that it's an educated opinion. But more often than not, I am finding that is not the case. But if you wanted reasons as to why I didn't like Donald Trump, why the majority of us don't like Donald Trump, I'll give it to you. Number one, he said that he wouldn't bomb Syria. Guess what? He did. Number two, he said he'd build this great wall along the border of Mexico. He's not going to, and his Secretary of Homeland Security even says that the building of the wall is, quote, unlikely. 3, he said he would drain the swamp of all of those corrupt politicians who were in the pockets of the big banks. Then he brought in billionaires, CEOs, and Wall Street moguls to make laws that will enrich their businesses and give tax cuts to the top 1%, which is their percentage. He said he would repeal and replace Obamacare with something, quote, wonderful, better, care for everybody, wonderful. He instead has a lesser policy, which was passed by the House by the narrowest of margins and is not going to see the light of day. It's going to be dead on arrival when it gets to the Senate, because what happens is the House passes the bill. It then goes up to the Senate. The Senate then will deny the bill. They're going to end up rewriting the bill, which will, you know, probably be much better than what they're presenting. Maybe might not be on the par of Obamacare right now, but nonetheless, they're going to rewrite the bill. The bill then has to go back to the House. The House is not going to pass it because it's not their bill. So then they're going to rewrite another bill, and it's going to be a stalemate back and forth, and Obamacare is going to be where it is today right now. So additionally, members from both sides of the fence, both Democrat and Republican, despise the bill in general. And that's not just Republican lawmakers and people in seats, but their constituents as well, as evident by town halls, which are seemingly dwindling from the people, especially the ones that voted for Trump care. He said that he would use his business experience to whip the White House back into shape. He then went on to create the most chaotic, dysfunctional, backstabbing White House in modern history, in which no one is in charge. He said that he would release his tax return, which every other presidential candidate has done since Nixon, with the exception, of course, of Gerald Ford, whom instead released a brief summary of his taxes. He has not released his taxes yet, and he says that he never will. He said that he would divest himself from his financial empire to avoid conflicts of interest. He hasn't. He continues to make money off of foreign dignitaries that stay at his hotel in Washington, gets China to give the Trump-branded name mark, manipulates the stock market on a daily basis, and just so many other things. Do I need to go on? Oh, I do? Okay. He said that Hillary Clinton was in the pockets of Goldman Sachs and would do whatever they said. Trump supporters bought that and said nothing, though, as Trump put in a half dozen Goldman Sachs executives in position of power in his administration. He said that he would surround himself with, quote, all of the best and smartest people. He then put Betsy DeVos an opponent of public education in charge of education, Jeff Sessions, opponent of the Voting Rights Act in charge of voting rights, Ben Carson, an opponent of the Fair Housing Act in charge of fair housing, Scott Pruitt, a climate change denier in charge of the EPA, and of course Rex Tillerson, a friend of Russia, as the Secretary of State. He said he would faithfully execute the law and then proceeded to accuse President Obama of spying on him with quite literally, less than no evidence of him doing so, going as far as to even have Kellyanne Conway, that tool, say with a straight face that there could have been cameras in the microwave. This was done in an effort to divert attention to the FBI investigation into collusion between his campaign, the Trump campaign, and Russian operatives. He said that he knew more about strategy and terrorism than the generals did. Then he gave the green light to a disastrous raid in Yemen, which resulted in the death of a Navy SEAL, an 8-year-old American girl, and several civilians. This was, again, against the wishes of the generals, by the way. The actual target of this, quote, successful strategy, end quote, escaped unharmed and no useful intel was gained. He called President Obama the vacationer-in-chief. This one is the big one here for me. Well, one of the big ones. And accused him of playing more rounds of golf than Tiger Woods. He promised to never be the kind of president to take vacations on the taxpayer dime because there was too much work to do. He has since gone on to spend more taxpayer money on vacations than Obama did in his first 3 years of presidency, and additionally, he is spending more taxpayer money protecting his family, up to and including the First Lady Melania Trump, whom is not even living in the White House. She's living in New York, and his 2 sons whom travel around the world on Trump business. He's also called CNN, NBC, ABC, The Washington Post, and The New York Times, quote, fake news, and said that they were the enemy. Then he gets his news from Fox News, whom's been in trouble recently with sexual harassment scandals, Breitbart, founded by his buddy Steve Bannon, whom serves in the Trump administration, Gateway Pundits, and of all places, freaking InfoWars. And this is just in the first 12 weeks. He has since fired the director of the FBI, James Comey, for his continued investigation on the Trump-Russia collusion. Members of Trump's staff stated that the investigation was not part of the reason why James Comey was fired. However, Trump himself appeared on TV and stated that, yes, that was part of the reason he wanted it to stop. He wanted the Russia thing to end. This, among so many other reasons, are why I personally can't stand this clown as the president, and I'd like to believe that the stereotypical Trump supporter just doesn't really watch and pay attention to what is really going on, because I would feel that if they did, they might have a completely different opinion on him. But instead, what I'm finding is that it's just easier for them to come down on someone like me, whom will willingly point out the issues, the flaws of the administration, and back it up with credible sources. Not the Tommy Lahrens of the world, or whatever her stupid name is, but I'm talking about reputable journalists and news companies. And I stand by my claim. I've always said this. If Trump does something good, I will praise it and give it the publicity that it deserves. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened very much. In fact, what comes out is the open mishaps that he doesn't even try to cover up because he's such a terrible liar. And all I do is recite what idiot moves he's making, and that incites rage from Trump supporters whom clearly have no idea. And this has resulted in friendships, at least on Facebook perhaps, ending, or strains in other relationships, whether they matter or not, up to and including family members. Look, I don't really give a crap if the reason that you unfriend me is because of my anti-Trump stance, provided that you are taking the same stance and unfriending everybody else on your list that shares more statuses than I do, whether credible or not. You know, don't piss on my leg and tell me that it's raining outside and tell me that, oh, well, the reason why I unfriended you or stopped talking to you is because I can't really stand the political things you posted. But that's really the only reason, brother. And then you turn around and you're still friends with other people that share like statuses and share similar points of views and agree with 110% of everything that I share and say, and call them brother and friends. Like, to me, that just is a BS reason. So, I mean, I would flat out have more respect for you if you were just honest with me. And instead of saying, oh, well, it's just because of the political stuff, I just don't want to see it anymore, just tell me the truth. That most of what I say is correct. It makes you feel dumb that you voted for that and supported for that, and you don't like the way I word it. Like, to me, that would be you telling me that you take exception to what I say and how I say it, and from there we could have a talk about it like adults. Instead, what ends up happening is blocking, removing, and junk talking about me behind my back, especially by members of my quote-unquote family. And that seems to be the default go-to for supporters like that, the stereotypical, uneducated Trump supporter who has no idea why people are against him, all because of the plain and simple fact that Trump made them laugh. And he's a WWE Hall of Famer. That's why they voted him in. It validates my point that every single one of those people really, honestly, have no clue what they got themselves into. A lighter note, next, after the commercial break. Father's Day is Sunday, June 18th, and if you haven't purchased a gift yet, head on over to our Amazon store at shopgear.com and find that perfect gift for your father, stepfather, or father figure in your life. Everything from lawnmowers, tools, grilling supplies, and more can be purchased and delivered right to his door, gift wrapped with a card, and everything, the whole nine. It's awesome. And if your dad is an electronic junkie like me, we have Amazon Fire tablets starting at just $49.99, and for a limited time, buy any 3 all-new Fire tablets, and Amazon's going to knock off an additional 20% from your order. We also have gift cards in any denomination, too, if Dad wants to pick out his own gift. What's more, by using our shopgear.com link to go to Amazon and make your purchases, you help support this program at no additional cost to you. That's right, no gimmicks, my babies. Just use our link and shop Amazon. Have it delivered in 2 days or less with Prime. Make Dad happy and support a small business all at once. Win-win-win for everybody. As always, thank you for bookmarking, saving, and sharing our Amazon link at shopgear.com. IndyCard Media is your one-stop shop for quality designs at a quality price. They offer merchandising, company branding, event posters, custom clothing designs, and so much more. Check out their gallery of past designs by visiting facebook.com/IndyCard Media and tell them what you think. That's IndyCard Media, 337-446-4331 or IndyCardMafia@gmail.com. Tell them that we sent you. Again, 337-446-4331. IndyCard Media. Bring your designs to life.
Can I just tell you how much I hate JC Money?
Why do you hate JC Money?
I hate JC Money.
He employs us.
He ducks and dodges me continuously. Now I know, don't get me wrong. I completely understand you're not supposed to hate your boss.
Okay.
You're not supposed to hate your boss, especially when he's giving you the opportunity to broadcast on his network.
Absolutely.
But I hate JC Money.
You hate JC Money.
If I see JC Money, I'll probably punch him right in the face, because he's so short also, and just swing low, sweet chariot. As long as he stops ducking and dodging me, we can get this wrestling match going. I can knock him out and be done with it.
Be done with it? Well, we have to find a venue for this match to happen first.
I know, right?
We need to put in some conversations with some higher powers.
And we got to find a place, though. A lot of places I work...
We have a place up.
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do.
No, we don't.
You know what?
No, we don't.
Because why don't we just use LPW?
We could use LPW.
Because I'm pretty sure Tim Horner would like an awesome match like that.
You know what? But I don't think JC Money will be able to get his permission slip signed from his wife to come out of the state of New York.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember last time we had this, we were going back and forth about you know, JC Money being the man that he's supposed to be, you know, taunting me and teasing me and all this nonsense. Mm-hmm. I remember his wife had his balls in her purse. I don't know if you saw that promo.
I did not.
I'll have to show you that promo I did. However, his permission slip has to be signed by his wife. So I don't think he's going to be able to get it signed. But I mean, I would love to talk to the promoter at LPW, set this match up, him get knocked out, and then we can just go on about our merry ways.
Well, you know what? I will have to talk to the powers that be at LPW, because
I mean, you do got some swag at LPW.
I have a little bit.
You got some swag there. Speaking of LPW,
yes,
you did.
Welcome back to the JC Money Show, everybody. And here, you heard that right there, right? You heard Gabriel Soul, right? Or Cyclone Jones, excuse me. Whatever the hell he's calling himself now. This is On a Lighter Note, and it is sponsored by our store through Amazon. Visiting shopgear.com. Please help us out. That's it. Just go to shopgear.com and shop Amazon like you normally would. That is the sponsor of On a Lighter Note here on the JC Money Show, and I'm going to talk to you about Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast. Now, Pat G and Cyclone Jones host the podcast on this network. It's a very good podcast, honestly. I'm a fan of it. I know that it came under some harsh criticism a few weeks, maybe even a month or two ago now at this point, but for some of the content. But hey, like I said at the beginning of this program, sometimes the content's not for everybody. So a few episodes ago there, Cyclone Jones issued a challenge of sorts. He wanted me to appear on the podcast. You know, personal things happen, you know, and professional things as well. I didn't really give it a decent thought. Like I said, yeah, sure, we'll plan a time or whatever. And then, you know, wires got crossed and things happened. So then this takes us to what I just aired for you, the last episode. And apparently this challenge has turned into a challenge to a wrestling match. And he also made a point of talking to Pat G about the friendly rivalry that we had in 2014. And he mentioned the promo in which he very bluntly told me to shut the F up for calling him out and, you know, whatever. What he failed to mention was in that same year, that very same year, in fact, not but maybe 3 or 4 weeks after that promo was released, telling me to shut the F up, he was supposed to make an appearance at OSPW WrestleFest. I happened to attend that show with my wife, as a matter of fact. And I recorded it, and when it comes up on this day on Facebook, I'll actually post it on the JC Money fan page because it's kind of funny. But we took Instagram videos of us at the venue looking for Cyclone Jones, and he wasn't there. And the reason why he wasn't there, I guess he had some sort of blow up, and I think he might have quit OSPW or he was let go. I'm not sure, but either way, there was some bad blood there at the time, and Cyclone Jones conveniently was not there when I was. So I hope you can enlighten the people about that, Cyclone Jones. But let me just touch up on a couple of things you said there. First of all, the swing low, sweet chariot, taking a dig at my size. I mean, you know, it's funny. You go ahead and you make a joke about, you know, oh, he's short, so I'm going to have to swing low. Well, you know what? Considering that you work at Nickel City Wrestling now, and Shadowcat's throwing himself in the main event picture, maybe you'll have the opportunity to practice on how to swing low since Shadowcat's shorter than I am. Aren't you the number one contender for that title too, or something like that? I don't know. I don't really follow that crap. But in any event, so there's that. So get your practice with Shadowcat, swinging low. Swing low, get your practice on, swinging on the Shadowcat. Oh, anyways, you go ahead and do that. But then there's another comment that sort of grinded my gears a little bit. It's the permission slip comment. You know, I have to get my wife to sign a permission slip for me to leave New York State, or really go anywhere, which is funny, but a little on the ridiculous side. Like, I will be the first to admit that my wife does not dictate where I go or what I do, and she never has. But I will be the first to admit that my children do. So if my children don't want me to leave, then I won't leave. If my children want me to wrestle, I will find a place to wrestle for them. If they want me to, I don't know, put on the Trolls soundtrack and play one song, play Move Your Feet over and over and over and over again, because yes, that does happen, I will do that. My children are the urn to my Undertaker. Okay, whatever they want, that's what I operate by. My wife supports anything that I do, as clearly evident by last January when I popped in on IWF in the Memorial Battle Royal for Marla Hansen. She was there, in her JC Money shirt, supporting, as she always does, rubbing elbows with everybody, saying hello to all the boys, you know, and Ron Falco and all them. So, yeah, I don't think that I need a permission slip to go there. But what I will tell you that I do need in order for this dream match of yours to take place, because I have absolutely no problem lacing up the boots again and getting in the ring with you and smacking the yellow off your freaking teeth. I've got no problem doing that. I'll get in there and I'll mix it up toe-to-toe with you, Cyclone Jones, anytime. That is not the issue. The issue is where you work in this area. Let's be completely honest with you. I am not on the greatest of terms with UW and Nickel City Wrestling, for that matter. Same place, I guess, when you factor in the license, but I digress. Unlike you, who is willing to work anywhere, whether you are paid or not, and whether that pay is pizza and water or actual money, or just the opportunity, bro, to live out your dream, bro, I am not that guy. You're happy to accept the opportunity to go out in front of a crowd and do your thing, and I applaud you for that. I was very much like that my first few years in the business. I wanted that opportunity. But now, I'm a prize fighter. So basically what that means is I do not fight or wrestle for free. So if it's an appearance on the podcast, the Turnbuckle Talk Radio podcast, all day, I will happily go onto the Turnbuckle Talk Radio podcast and talk with you. But if it's an in-ring match that you want, honestly, I accept anytime, anywhere, when the money is right. And if promoters are smart and people want to see it, they'll book it and it will happen and the money will be right and I will be there right in the ring to look you in the face, smack you in the face, and yell out, Cyclone! As I frog splash on top of you. 1, 2, 3. That is, of course, Cyclone Jones, if you don't quit the place before the show actually happens. That's going to do it for this edition of the JC Money Show here on the Gear Radio Network's iHeartRadio channel. That's right. Of course, you can listen to it every day on iHeartRadio if you wish. And at the end of the week, every JC Money Show episode will be available for download on the Gear Network Spreaker page. Visit shopgear.com to do all of your Amazon shopping. Of course, that helps us out. That sustains this program and sustains all of the other programming on the network as well. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you shopping. Tune in next time for an all-new edition of the JC Money Show. When I post it, it'll be right here first on iHeartRadio, Gear Network style. So long, everybody. Good night now. The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.